Coming up on The Last Call, the Northside Patriots make history this week, winning their first ever baseball state championship. Coming up, we'll show you how the Pats got it done. Plus, hockey is back in Columbus. Coming up on the show, we'll tell you everything you need to know about the Columbus River Dragons. It's all on The Last Call, and it starts right now. Welcome back to The Last Call. I'm your host, Justin Holbrook. Before we get to the show, I just want to say our hearts go out to the family and friends of Rod and Paula Bramblett, the voice of the Auburn Tigers as he was known, and his wife were killed in a car accident last night. We're going to end tonight's show by remembering Rod's life and the impact he had on the Auburn community. But I just want to start by saying to the Bramblett family and the entire Auburn family, we're thinking of you and praying for you. And with that, let's run it back. This year's Northside baseball team was the first to ever reach the state championship. There's something else that makes this series even more interesting. Northside faced Denmark for the title, a team coached by David Smart, who used to be Northside's head coach. Even more interesting is the fact that Denmark is in its first ever season as a school because the school opened less than a year ago. Patriots down 1-0, but in the bottom of the second, Colton Joyner started with a single. Will Bryant comes in to run for him and advances to second, and Connor O'Neill brings him home. Tie game 1-1. Denmark tacks on 2 runs in the third. Same inning, Nick Farrer is going to bring home 2 more on this 2-out, 2 RBI double to give Denmark a 5-1 lead. Northside gets 1 back, so it's 5-2 in the 5th inning. Bases loaded for Walt McConnell. He smashes one to right center. The ball gets down. All 3 Patriots come home to score, and just like that, this one is tied 5-5. Northside gives up a run in the 6th, but a sac fly from Spencer Chandler ties it in the bottom of the 7th. So with 2 outs and runners on first and second, Justin Vilas lofts a pop-up, so it looks like we're headed to extra innings, but oh man, it's dropped by the left fielder as Mac Williams races home to score the game-winning run, and Northside wins a thriller 7-6 on a walk-off. That meant the Patriots are 1 game away from winning state. Pats are the away team, but with that crowd, it looked like it was a Northside home game. Top of the first, Hunter Poe standing on second base, and Clayton Weaver drives this one through the infield. Poe beat the throw, and Northside leads 1-0. Pats add a sac fly to lead 2-0 after 1 inning. In the third, senior Colton Joyner launches one to left field, stays fair, and that brings home Trey Richburg, 3-0 Northside. Same inning, runners on second and third for Spencer Chandler. Ground ball is booted into the outfield, bringing home Joyner and Will Bryant. Pats are rolling and lead 5-0. Denmark stayed scoreless because of this guy. Sophomore Connor Sizemore picks up his 6th strikeout of the game while only allowing 1 hit, still 5-0. Jump ahead to the 6th. Northside now leads 8-0. Connor O'Neill has a chance to put Northside up by double digits, and he does just that. Single scores Mac Williams and Will Bryant, and the run rule is in play. Connor Sizemore gives up a couple runs, but he and the Patriots are now 1 out away from winning their first ever state championship, and there it is. Ground out to end the game, and Northside wins state by a score of 11-2.
What do you say? Man, it's awesome. So happy for our kids, for our school. I don't know. It feels like we should go to practice tomorrow. I don't know what else to tell you.
I love it for them. Before the second game, I called all the seniors to the corner of the dugout, and I told them this was going to be their last high school game, and I'm just proud I could do it to them. It's been difficult being the lower seed, but we've all enjoyed being road dogs, and it's turned out well for us.
It's amazing. You know, I always said to my freshman year that this is going to be the team that was going to go all the way, and we're here. We made it.
He was right. Congrats, fellas. Being in the state championship has become the norm for Sly County. That's because they've won the GHSA 1A title in 2 of the last 4 years, and they could win their 3rd in 5 years. They were taking on defending state champ Gordon Lee, top of the second, with 2 runners on. Thomas catches Griffin Collins, leaning, chases him down, and gets him in a pickle, eventually tags him out for out number 2 in game 1. Then, right after that, he tells Cody Thomas to sit down. That strikeout would end the inning. Top of the 4th now, it's still 0-0. Chris Potter up to bat. He hits a ground ball to second base. Wildcats could turn a double play. They get 1, but the throw to first is off. That gives Will Sizemore time to come home and score, and Gordon Lee scores the first run of the game, 1-0. Trojans now lead 2-0 in the bottom of the 7th. Trip Lumpkin hits a screamer through the infield. Ashton Gooden charges home, tries to run over the catcher, who holds onto the ball. Gooden is out and ejected from the game, and on top of that, he doesn't get to play the rest of the series. It's a GHSA rule, and that's how Gordon Lee wins Game 1, 2-0. So now the Wildcats have to win Game 2 to keep their season alive. Top of the 1st with runners on the corners. It's a Trojans wild pitch. Trent Bivens races home. Sly County gets on the board, 1-0. Bottom of the 1st, Gordon Lee has a runner on 3rd. Garen Ramey hits a high pop-up to center field. Brody Cobb is going to hit the Jets from second base and beats the tag at the plate, and that means we're all tied up at 1 apiece. Top of the 3rd, same score with runners on. Dylan Thomas cranks a hit over the left fielder's head. 2 Wildcats score, and Sly County goes up 3-1, and Dylan Thomas stays consistent for the Wildcats, both pitching and hitting. Trojans cut the lead to just 1 run in the bottom of the 7th. Laureen Marino gets back-to-back strikeouts to seal the win for Sly County in Game 2, and that meant we got a Game 3 on Wednesday, but they're still without Ashton Gooden.
Because how we deal with it now is probably how they're going to deal with it in life. You know, are we going to make excuses, and are we going to drop our heads and pout, or are we going to get up and do something about it? Because complaining does absolutely nothing. And I challenge to get up and do something about it, and to their credit, they got up and did. You know, it's going to come down to who's got the most pitching on Wednesday.
Let's find out who's got the most pitching on Wednesday. Okay, back in Savannah for Game 3. It was a hot one, too. Top of the 1st, bases already loaded for the Wildcats. This pitch ends up in the dirt. Logan Wirtz sprints home, and just like that, Sly County once again takes a 1-0 lead to start the game. Bottom 1st, bases loaded for the Trojans. Chris Potter hits a chopper to second. Wildcats lose it on the transfer. 1 Trojan scores, then Hunter Hudson comes home, and now Gordon Lee jumps ahead 2-1. A few batters later, it's Jake Wright. He hits a blooper into no man's land in left field. Griffin Collins is going to come home from second base to extend the Trojans' lead. Gordon Lee led 4-1 at the end of the 1st. It's 9-1 now in the top of the 7th. Dylan Thomas scores on a wild pitch. Then here comes Dylan Wyndham on another wild pitch. He hits the dirt and scores. Wildcats down 9-3. But in the end, the Wildcats' comeback is cut short. Michael Wainwright is the last out of the season for Sly County as they fall 9-3 in Game 3.
You know, we got behind the 8 ball a little bit early. We had 3 or 4 chances at the plate with guys on base, and we just never could come through with a big hit. It's just one of those days where, you know, you're facing a really good team like Gordon Lee, and you know, everything that could go their way did, and they just snowballed on us. We were adding it up one day. We've had more comeback and walk-off wins this year than I think any other year that we've ever had. And their grit and determination is really what I will remember them for.
Congrats on a great season, fellas. Meanwhile, the GHSA Golf State Championship wrapped up on Tuesday in the Fountain City. Here's Jonathan Parker for Columbus on par 3, 5th hole, going for a birdie putt. Has a great line on it, but it comes up just short. He settled for par. Max Shepard on the 6th has a tough lie, going for the par putt. He also looks like it's going to go in, but that one too falls short, and so he settles for bogey. And then here's John Runyon, also on 6th, looking to save par. And this too looks like a great putt, but a little too much power. Goes on the other side, and he settles for bogey. In the end, Columbus High wins 3rd place in state, but Jonathan Parker eventually won state on the individual side with a combined score of 138. Let's catch up with the Columbus girls over at Maple Ridge on Tuesday. Here's junior Madeline Kruger on 15. Tough one, but check this out. Maddie lines it up and has enough power behind it. The ball gets wedged between the pin and cup, still counts. Birdie for Maddie. She eventually goes on to win individual state at 147. Mary Catherine McDaniel, who will play at Spring Hill College next year on 18, overshot the green on her approach, and here has to settle for bogey. In the end, Columbus High finished as the state runner-up as a team score of 460. And finally, the Class A Private School Championship also wrapped up on Tuesday. The Brookstone boys tied for state runner-up, finishing with a combined score of 587, only 2 shots behind state champion Christian Heritage. On the individual side, Bo Blanchard tied for 2nd for low medalist. All right, this is last year's Columbus State men's tennis team. They were the first team in program history to win a national championship, and on Friday, the Cougars could make history once again and repeat as national champs. And for a second year in a row, the Cougars face Barry University for the title. We go to doubles number 1. CSU already lost number 3, but it's best 2 out of 3 that gets the point. A lot of back and forth, but eventually Zach Wanga and Alvaro Regalado take the match, and so it's up to doubles number 2. KP Panu is going to serve with a chance to win the match, and he gets the ace, and Columbus State takes the first point of the national championship. Tommaso Skold and Regalado, who you're about to see right here, take 2 more points to give CSU a 3-0 lead. So that meant the Cougars were 1 away from winning the title once again. But Barry storms all the way back, winning the next 3 points. So it's tied 3-3, and with the national championship on the line, the Buccaneers' Carlos Gomez clinches the title with the ace as Barry comes back to beat CSU 4-3 for the national championship. Over on the women's side, CSU is making its 2nd straight appearance in the Final Four, but for the 2nd year in a row, the Cougars fall in the semifinals, also going down to Barry. But once again, another great season for CSU, which won the conference regular season and the conference tournament for a 3rd year in a row. Still to come on the last call, the Alabama softball team took on Texas in the Super Regionals, with the winner heading to the College World Series. We'll show you if it was the Tide or Longhorns who took Game 3 in Tuscaloosa. Plus, this week the SEC baseball tournament went down in Hoover, Alabama. We'll show you Auburn's heartbreaking loss to get bounced from the tourney and whether Georgia could win the whole thing. Alabama has had a softball team for 23 years. In 11 of those 23 years, the Tide have made it to the College World Series. Only 2 schools, UCLA and Arizona, have qualified to the World Series more often than they haven't. Alabama could become the 3rd team to do so with a win over Texas yesterday. The Tide and Longhorns split the first 2 games in the Tuscaloosa Super Regional. Game 3 winner goes to the World Series. Tide lead 2-1 in the 3rd. KB Sides makes it a 4-run lead. 3-run shot to dead center, and Alabama leads 5-1. They would add 2 more, so it's 7-1, looking like a runaway, but uh-oh, don't count out Texas. Shannon Rhodes, grand slam, and just like that, it's a 2-run game, 7-5 in the 5th. Alabama adds another run, so in the 7th inning, they're 1 out away from their 12th trip to the College World Series, and there it is. Montana Fouts gets the pop-up and the complete game win as Alabama wins 8-5 to advance. And in baseball, Georgia was taking on Ole Miss in the semifinals of the SEC tournament yesterday. Mason Meadows gets all of this one, 2-run shot to left, and the Dogs score first, taking a 2-0 lead in the 2nd. Rebels score 3 unanswered and take a 3-2 lead. We're in the top of the 5th now, and with 2 outs, Aaron Shunk drives it to left field. Cheney Rogers scores from second, and we're tied at 3 apiece. Same score, bottom half of the inning. Tony Losi pitching now. He's from Columbus, a finalist for the Golden Spike Award given to the nation's best pitcher, but Greg Kessinger gets the best of him here. It's a 2-run home run, makes it 5-3, and that would be the final score as Ole Miss wins. And finally, the LSU Tigers get more of that good luck. Auburn had a 3-2 lead heading into the bottom of the 9th. Well, LSU got back-to-back hits, then a wild pitch gets away from Auburn, and 2 LSU Tigers score on the air trying to get it back to the catcher. Ouch. Auburn loses heartbreaking fashion 4-3. That's a wild pitch, throwing error, and just a terrible, terrible way to lose for Auburn. Okay, we do it every Sunday on The Last Call. It's the Braves Week in Review. And this week, the review can be summed up with one name, Austin Riley. The 22-year-old phenom continues to be, well, phenomenal. Since making his debut on May 15th, Riley has been crushing the ball with 5 home runs, 13 RBIs, 2 doubles, and an average of .341. His best outing came on Thursday in San Francisco when he launched a game-tying 2-run home run in the 8th, and then this RBI single in the 13th inning, which proved to be the game winner. By the way, the Braves have won 8 of their last 12 since Riley entered the big show. All right, we're still serving on The Last Call, and up next, we take you inside the return of hockey to Columbus and what you need to know about this year's team. Hockey fans in Columbus celebrated when they got a team back, and on Tuesday, The fans learned the name of that franchise, and it is the Columbus River Dragons. Team officials introduced the franchise's new name at a press conference on Tuesday afternoon at the Columbus Civic Center. And you can't talk hockey without Jerome Boom Boom Bouchard in the mix. President and General Manager Scott Brand also announced that tickets will go on sale next Tuesday. That's the day after Memorial Day. And the prices will be very affordable, with single game tickets ranging between $8 and $25, while season tickets go between $250 and $500.
Gain the trust, I think, of the hockey community here, and gain the trust of the community that we're here for the long haul. This isn't just something that we're going to come in and try and leave. I mean, hockey's been successful here. Everybody has told us this is a hockey town from the turnout today, and from talking with the mayor and the city. This is a hockey town. We just have to take the torch and run with it.
The season starts in late October. We're still serving on the last call, and on tap we've got highlights from the final day out on the water at the Masters Water Ski and Wakeboard Tournament. Champions were crowned. We'll show you how it all went down. Athletes come from all across the world to compete at the Masters Water Ski and Wakeboard Tournament at Callaway Gardens. And a big reason they come is to get their name put on that trophy. And we'll find out what names are going on there, because today was Championship Sunday. Another hot but gorgeous day on Robin Lake in Pine Mountain on this Memorial Day weekend. The day started with the women's water ski trick finals. This is Erica Lang, originally from Arizona, who now lives and trains in Orlando. She scored 5,840 on the first pass and finished just north of 10,000, the only athlete to do so, making her the 2019 champ. On the men's side, Patricio Font went last because he finished first in yesterday's semifinals, scored a beat 11,320 set by Adam Picos. Font needs 6,660 on pass 2 to win the title, and he does just that. The Mexico native takes the men's trick championship. Over to women's slalom, Regina Jaquez from the USA going for it from 39.5 out. She gets through the first 3 buoys and goes down halfway to 4, but that's okay because it was enough to win her the title. And finally, in the men's slalom, Freddie Winter from Great Britain has a tall task. Got to get past 2 buoys from 41 out to win. The course record is 4 buoys from that far. He does not break the record, but he does get 3 buoys to win the men's slalom championship. And man, was he fired up. We caught up with some of today's winners.
This is the biggest event of the year in water sports, and to win this event is unbelievable. I've won the event in the past, but this is my first time winning in about 4 years now. So it's been a long time coming, and yeah, to do it again is unreal.
Yeah, you know, it's incredible because like I just qualified last week to be here, and then from not even being in it to being top seed and now winning, it's like really big. And I don't know, I never thought this would happen now, maybe in the years coming, but it happened today, so I'm really happy for it.
I'm sure there's a few people here will say I'm a drama queen and that I get too emotional. That's true, I do have a lot of emotions with the sport. You know, I take it really hard when I lose, but when I win, I mean, I've got to enjoy it, right? And I mean, a couple people were like, oh, you had a bit of a scream out there on the water. I'm like, well, damn right I did. You know, this is what I ski for. I do this every day, and like, you know, I eat like a, you know, a vegan sort of weird like psychopath with my food, and like no beer and that sort of stuff. And then you come to a tournament like this, and you kind of it all goes your way. Got to enjoy it. That was one of the best moments of my life. I mean, that was huge for me. Huge.
He enjoyed it, I enjoyed it, everyone enjoyed their weekend there. Here are the results from the events that took place later in the afternoon. Ryan Dodd wins the men's ski jump, while Jaquinta Carroll takes first place on the women's side. And in wakeboarding, Carrie Tenuson and Megan Ethel both score a 93 to win the championship. It was also a big weekend in Opelika. Final round of the Zimmer Biomet Championship went down today. Nuria Iturrios was going for wire-to-wire win. Great shot from the beach on 12 leads to a birdie as she remains solid in first place. Not far behind her was Maddie Zurich. She birdies on 12 as well and is still within striking distance on the back 9. But Iturrios never lets up. With a 2-shot lead, she sinks this putt on 18 to win the Zimmer Biomet Championship. Congrats also to Troy University grad Fatima Fernandez-Cano for finishing tied for 5th, and recent Georgia grad Bailey Tardy, who finished tied for 10th. Okay, last on the last call, we remember the life of Rod Bramblett, the impact he had on Auburn, and we'll relive his Kick 6 call. Auburn has lost its voice. Last night, Rod Bramlett and his wife Paula were killed in a car accident in Auburn. Bramlett was the voice of the Auburn Tigers, serving as the lead announcer since 2003. Rod got his start with the Tigers baseball team back in 1993. A decade later, he took over as the voice of the Auburn Tigers, calling football and men's basketball to go along with baseball. Rod was from Valley, Alabama, and graduated from Auburn in 1988. He was a three-time Alabama Sports Broadcaster of the Year. He was also named the National Sports Broadcaster of the Year by Sports Illustrated in 2013. The same year, Auburn beat Alabama in a game simply known as the Kick Six, which Rod called as only he could.
Well, I guess if this thing comes up short, he can field it and run it out. All right, here we go. 56-yarder. It's got, no, does not have the leg. And Chris Davis takes it in the back of the end zone. He'll run it out to the 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 45. There goes Davis. Oh, my God. Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game. Auburn's going to win the football game. He ran the missed field goal back. He ran it back 109 yards. They're not going to keep him off the field tonight. Holy cow. Oh, my God. Auburn wins. Auburn has won the Iron Bowl.
Auburn won the Iron Bowl that night, but Rod won the hearts of so many during his time as the voice of the Auburn Tigers. That'll do it for The Last Call. Same time next week.